Gamers! It's a podcast. We're doing it. We're recording. What's up?
Hi. Hello.
Ooh, hello. Okay. Hello.
Okay, yeah, we can keep going.
Yeah.
Is this thing on?
Yeah, we're live, guys. What's going on? We're back with another week, and we got an email from the boy Mark, of course, so appreciate that, man. And you can send emails, unversepodcast@gmail.com. So he asks, what are some games that you hated or gave up on, but it had amazing music? Now, this is an interesting one because, you know, we're big fans of video game music here.
Fuck, dude. A game I couldn't play anymore because it just was hot garbage, but the music was banging. I might need a minute to think about that.
I mean, I wouldn't call it hard garbage, but Tekken. Like, I just quit. I was talking to Adam earlier. I'm like, man, I need my competitive spirit back. Like that shit is gold with the music. Like that's is like one of the only games besides like Persona that I fucking try to look for on Spotify or other places to like fucking listen to.
Yeah, I think for me, back in my early gaming days, music like audio in games just wasn't a thing for me. Like I would just play games muted like a madman.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I gotta go, dude. I'm sorry, I can't. Yeah, dude, I might have to leave the family. Hold on.
I don't think the game is garbage, but I did give up playing it. Destiny. I always thought Destiny had some good music.
Oh yeah.
I think that might be the only thing I could think of, because it's only when you start gaining interest for a game is when you pay attention to all the other things involved, right? And I think music is one of those things.
No, that's not for me, dude. I'm always looking at the whole experience. I think for me is that when I started getting into gaming, the music is the first cue that I really looked for. Like, I mean, the visuals obviously, but like the music has always been something that I'm like, well, if music's good, then the game should be pretty decent. And I really can't think of any game where the music was hot garbage, you know? Like, I mean, and I grew up playing like Final Fantasy, right, where the music isn't always super good, like in the older ones. Like it's a lot of synth, nothing too crazy, just a lot of classic piano. Yeah, I really can't think of anything. But yeah, I always really look for the music because it really does carry the experience with you. You know, like if you're, like for example, if you're playing like any kind of RPG, right? You go into the open world area, you're going to hear like the same song over and over again, and you kind of just get used to it. Sometimes you just tune it out a little bit. Like, especially when I'm playing Final Fantasy X, I kind of tune it out after a while. Or like when I get to the calm lands, I'm like, okay, well, I already know what it sounds like here.
Here's another one that you guys definitely agree with. When I stopped playing Bloodborne, one thing I really enjoyed was the music. I remember I grabbed the soundtrack from, I think I grabbed it from Miguel, and just listening to it before I even played the game, I was like, man, this is crazy music, dude. What's going on?
Yeah, I fought Bloodborne definitely. I mean, but then again, like I only stopped playing it because I platinumed it. I was with like the other members of the house. But I'm telling you, Danny.
Yeah, I think
Akil's maybe not ready, but I'm ready, dude. I'm fucking thinking about playing that again because that game is so good. It's so good.
I'm down, dude. I'm gonna pop it in on the PS5, see how it plays.
But yeah, I can only really think of just Destiny and Bloodborne. And then he also asks, we're entering a new season of anime. Anything we're interested in? There is a few, actually. Obviously, Part 8 JoJo.
Part 6, you mean?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Part 6 JoJo. Yeah, Stone Ocean, Yasuke on Netflix. I really want to check that one out.
Eventually, I'll watch Castlevania. That's still on my list. I don't know, dude. Like, we talk about this every now and then, Danny. You know, I just don't have the time to sit there and watch anime anymore. Like, I would rather read it because I can get through it way faster. And usually the manga, like, I've always preferred it more than the anime. Like, I guess if there is anything that I need to watch, it's probably not this season, but I still need to go through Crystal to see how that is.
Oh yeah, good luck.
I remember starting it and I got to like episode 3 in season 1 and I just haven't gone back to it. But I mean, most of the time if I'm watching something, I'm just rewatching Star Trek. Or I'm rewatching The Dead Don't Die because that's one of the best comfort films ever.
Sure, buddy. Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I still need to catch up on anime. and I saw this on YouTube. It's not an anime, but it's animated, so I'll count it. Bird Girl premiered on Adult Swim, and this is from the guy that did Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law. I mean, I am watching Invincible, but that's because that show's good.
Think about One Piece again. Just the Wano arc.
Honestly, Wano, yeah.
Yeah, well, see, that's the other thing I was telling you too, Danny. Like, if I'm going to watch anime, I'm probably going to watch the really good fights in One Piece, you know. Mm-hmm. I'll probably watch all of Wano. I did see the last half of the Big Mom arc, which was really good. Like, that whole fight with Dogtooth was just fucking impeccable, the way they animated it.
As cool as I think Dogtooth is with this fucking awakening mochi fruit, because that shit is fucking killer. That fight was kind of lackluster in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I know for sure that was before the big shift with Wano, because everything I've seen for Wano, it's like they don't even care what a budget is anymore. From the stuff I've seen, like that's crazy.
That's good, especially for One Piece, because there's a lot of flashy bullshit going on. Like, you could tell even in the manga, like, sometimes there's so much going on. Like, if my only gripe for One Piece would be that there's so much going on in certain panels that I don't really know where to look and who's really talking. I really have to, like, concentrate.
Yeah, it's kind of got that tower effect.
Especially now, because you know how they're all in the fucking, in the castle.
Yeah.
And shit's going crazy with the Onis and, the ninjas and all that shit.
Yeah, and then you got Luffy doing his, like, shockwave punches.
Yeah, exactly, dude. The debris left over from the attacks too, it doesn't make it like easier to figure out what's really happening. Like who the fuck got knocked out.
Yeah, there was the site that I read it on, sometimes they color the pages in, like for some of the last panels. So
classic animation stuff.
Yeah. So when I saw that in last week's, or I guess it was this week's chapter, I was like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. Like, I kind of had, like, I'm like, okay, that's what you're doing. But then seeing the color, I'm like, oh, that's so much better.
I would go and watch specific things. Like, I remember when they were in Dressrosa for the anime, I'm like, okay, let me see Gear 4th. It looked fucking cool. The way they revealed the markings on Luffy's neck, I was like, oh, of course, that would be the Gum Gum fruit showing off on his neck. That makes so much more sense. I wouldn't have thought of it like that, because I thought I was like, oh, it's just hockey, coated over his body. But then, visually showing the devil fruit in the anime, I was like, oh, okay, that's great.
Become one with the Sea Devil.
Like, I probably won't watch all of Stone Ocean, if I'm being honest, but I do. There's certain things I want to see. I think I said it last week, Adam, right? With Diver Down, I want to see how they're going to do his effects when he gets into the fights.
It's not Diver Down, isn't it? Isn't it going to be something else?
It's going to be something else.
Oh shit! Yeah, what is it in an All-Star Battle?
I can't remember. Well, and there's a couple fights with Foo Fighters I really want to see too.
Oh, is it going to be Foo Fighters, or is it going to be? You already talked me out of watching it. Stupid dumbass translation bullshit. Like, did you guys read the? Of course you didn't. You guys aren't caught up. Part 8, JoJo, where the he brought out a fucking a rock insect. You know what the fucking name is? Obladi Oblada.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, that's so cool, but that will never translate.
Oh yeah, Diver Down's gonna be Diver Drive.
Yes. Okay, that's pretty cool though.
That's cool. But that's just gonna be for the subtitles. They still say Diver Down and all that shit in Japanese.
I'm so aggressive over this, dude. I like my JoJo. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just copyright bullshit.
Yeah.
So cool. Thanks, Mark, for the email. Appreciate it. Again, that's unversepodcast@gmail.com. Jerry, this guy right here, he was streaming earlier and he beat Arkham City, man.
Technically, yeah. Yeah, there's still a part. It's a fun game. I might do a smaller stream later today just to finish that part. If not, I'm still gonna finish the Black Cat part of the stream and then probably switch over to Spider-Man mid-stream. Like, I'm going through this list of games that I've been fucking trying to stream, and it's getting shorter by the minute. I have like 9 games of these, right? Then there's 2 I kind of want to speedrun. But all that shit's gonna be like in the future. But yeah, Twitch, jerryomega.tv/homeboy.
There you go. Perfect. Heck yeah. Yeah, I'm back from my hiatus on streaming as well. Just went more into Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and it's just exploring more of, yeah, Lara's kind of, they're shifting Lara to be the bad guy kind of thing. Or at least, like, it's her fault certain things are happening, which it's a different take. But, oh, man, let me tell you, there's some moves that I was like, oh, wow, like, this is crazy how brutal it could get. There's a lot of stealth in the game. That's what I appreciate about it, because in these kind of games like Uncharted and this one, I like to go for stealth when you can. There's a new one to where you're in the bushes near a tree. Oh, no, if you're perched up on a tree, you can just tie a rope to a guy and just hang him in the tree. I was like, oh, my God. There's a cool section, too, where if there's mud in the area, you could cover yourself in mud and sort of blend into the environment. You know, in these kind of games, there's always a section to where, no, you're not doing stealth. You're shooting everybody in the open right now. Like, it's forced into the gameplay. And there was one section in Shadow where it was all pure stealth. And I was like, oh, that's cool. It's a nice change of pace. I wasn't expecting that to happen. And I was like, I appreciate that. And then we got into the anime stuff where she literally just fought a jaguar that was just chewing on her back, and she's fine after she kills it. And I was like, all right. But I feel like it's going to be picking up pace, because where I left off on the stream was like heavy Aztec stuff about to go down. And I was like, yeah, that's the stuff I'm kind of interested in, because so far, like, tonally it's different from the other games, and that's what it has me looking forward to, because at least the structure's different. Unlike in Rise, it was very copy-paste with the first game. And then the other day, I streamed PacMan 99. That just came out this past week from Nintendo. It's free, like Tetris 99. You get to play for free if you have Nintendo Online. And boy, that game is intense.
Oh, dude, yeah.
When I saw the announcement, the first thing I thought of was, of course they would pick Pac-Man. This is great. I like the idea of these old-style games being brought back as a battle royale. You know, with Tetris, it's just Tetris. Well, you'll get junk, but, you know, at the end of the day, you're still playing the way you would be playing back on Windows 98. But then here, with Pac-Man 99, it's like, no, it's not the same Pac-Man that you played. We're throwing so much more into this that you just have to be focused the entire match, and you got to be on point and making sure you can get the power pellets and the fruits at the right time.
Yeah, and I played it a little bit earlier today as we're recording this, and it's a lot of fun. I tried using some of my old methods that I typically use in Pac-Man when I play, and some of it works, but with having those red circles that come at you and then like the enemy white circles, it changes the whole game. It really does. Like, you really have to be aware of every turn that you're making and, like, how far away the pellet is from you and, like, when the fruit's going to spawn and all that kind of jazz. But, hey, dude, my first game, I got 8th place, so.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, I literally I said it on Jerry's stream, I'm going to get carpal tunnel from playing this game, man.
Yes, my thumb is sore. So I've noticed playing a bunch of these matches, there is a pattern in the beginning that the first two ghosts follow, and it depends on how your map is. So it's the standard layout as classic Pac-Man. However, every time you load, there may be some missing pellets on the screen already. And if there are missing pellets on the screen, it changes the behavior of the ghosts. So I find that interesting. So I already have like a routine. If it's just a normal screen, I'm like, okay, I already know where they're going to go. I have to go collect this stuff that you need to be able to send all this junk over to all the other players. Gets super crazy and intense, and I've only caught one dub so far, and man, every time I get caught, it's always with these white Pac-Man that people can send, and that slows you down as you hit each one. And boy, every time top 10 or whatever, here they come and giving me that bullshit. But no, it's fantastic. It's very refreshing. I didn't really know what to expect coming out with this, but I am glad this is here, and I'm sure they're not stopping. I can easily see Galaga 99, Donkey Kong 99.
I'm waiting on that Galaga 99.
No, yeah, Galaga 99, I would be down to play. Oh, I was
Metal
thinking
Slug 99.
Dude,
Ooh.
That actually sounds pretty awesome.
See, if they would do Galaga 99, the thing I thought of was, well, are they going to do the multiple ships thing? Because there's only one life, right? And, you know, if you're a pro gamer in Galaga,
you already know by level 2 you should have a fucking
buddy,
one, dude.
Exactly. Yeah, get that double cannon, and I wonder if they'll be able to do that. But maybe it'll be a power-up kind of thing. So in Tetris 99, it's only you use the right stick to target your enemies, and it's based off of types. So you could target people who are attacking you, people who are about to die, people with like the most kills, or just a random person. And it's the same here in Pac-Man, except they added an extra element of when you eat power pellets, it'll turn the ghost blue, but it'll also affect Pac-Man by giving power. So you have standard, which it's just really doesn't do anything. You get strength, where you can send more junk, but the pellets run out faster. Speed, you're faster with the pellets, but you don't send as much junk. And then train, I don't know what train does. I think it just tracks all the enemies for you to make it easier. So right there, I was like, wow, there's already a lot going on in this game. So they could probably do something like that with Galaga. Well, all right, let's get into some of this. It is a new week, so that means, of course, we're going to talk about maybe some Yakuza. I don't think you started Kiwami yet, though, right, Jerry?
I should probably get it maybe sometime tonight.
I know Julian started. He's having a good time.
I think I got like another chapter or two ahead. I'm still in Okinawa, just kind of getting an understanding of what's going on in the city, and how everybody, how like they want to get Kiryu out. I'm on the fence with how I feel about it still.
Mm-hmm.
I think the newer characters look pretty fun. Like the dude with the Viper tattoo, he's pretty cool.
Yeah, that guy's cool.
I'm really liking how Haruka is in this.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I've always liked Haruka since she came out. Like she's just way too good of a character, right? Like Kiryu needs her in a lot of different ways. But just everything else, I don't know, But obviously, I'm not that far into the story yet, where we're talking about what's going on with the Dojima family. So I'm keeping my wits about me. I'm still not a fan of the leveling up system. I think it's trash.
Yep. Classic Yakuza. Yeah.
Yep. And dude, everybody fucking blocks, and I think that's really annoying me at this point. Like what would take me maybe like 5-10 minutes to beat a boss now is like 20-30, because they're just blocking the entire time.
And like that doesn't sound fun.
It's terrible. And like if I don't have any items to pick up and use as a weapon, or like pull out the heat action, it's garbage. And when I grab a boss, like it takes so much. I have to mash so hard, and I'm not a really good masher at all. Like that's my biggest gripe, is if the grabbing was better, I think I would like it a lot more. Like I wouldn't be minded by the blocking as much as I am, but the blocking is a really big pain. Like it's really being a problem for me.
Yeah.
What I noticed in Zero is that like the I guess the further in you progress in the story, you know how like the more people come out to rush you and shit. Like when it used to be like only like 3 people, then it ran out to 5 and then 7. Like for like the casual fights you see on the streets. And I also noticed that like fucking they start blocking now, especially like the different styles. When some characters have like some enemies, they have the different styles of like fighting styles. Like one of them copies Rush or something like that. Those motherfuckers are like the worst, because like they're the ones who are all battle ready, and they have like the fight stance going. And they have the evade and the block down. Yeah, and like all that shit just happened like later on in the story. So you're telling me like right away, everybody and their mama decides they know how to fight.
Yeah. The big nickname for Yakuza 3 is Blockuza 3.
Yeah, and it's pretty on point with that, dude. It's pretty on point with that name. Like everybody in the grandma's blocking.
Yeah, the way I played, which worked for the most part, was you have to kind of do the bait kind of thing, where you have to anticipate when they're gonna strike next, and then you could get like a 2 or 3 hit combo going in there, and then you have to play the patient game.
So combo finishers, is that still a thing?
Yeah, there's still a thing. Yeah.
So yeah, but it's like you're doing your combo, and then usually they would drop block when the finisher comes in. No, they're just holding it. So I started doing that, Danny. I started going in for the bait and punish and like the whiffs, but it's just like I spent a lot of time on the first boss fight. I'm not going to name drop, and then on the other boss fight with the guy with the Viper tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot more time than I wanted to. I was like, okay, dude, like this is. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I mean, one other strat could just be going in and doing your quick steps, so that way you could get behind them really fast, and then try to get the hits in before they get their auto block kicking back in.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing too.
You just got to keep moving then. That's for sure.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a lot worse compared to what all the people in the shitpost group I'm in keep saying about it. But no, it's still a problem for sure. You just have to be patient.
Yeah.
Which, I've said here on the show, I'm not a big fan of the Souls approach of combat where you have to like do a couple hits and back up kind of thing. And then I played a little bit more of Yakuza 4. I went past chapter 4, and when the next little load screen came in, I was like, oh, I'm going to be on this game for a while, because guess what? It said part 2.
Oh.
So we're getting pretty lengthy with what this game's going to be bringing, and so far it's still a little slow. We're building up to what the main plot is for the game, but I like what we're doing here. This is the 4th game of the series, and the devs just said, you know what, let's start exploring more options with this game. So technically I'm on chapter, I guess you could say 5 or 6. Kiryu has not shown up yet. We're investing into the other characters that are going to be important in the story. And I find that very interesting with this game. And then, you get the different playstyle with them, so we have a lot of variation eventually when we get to the thick of the plot, when we get to moving with all these characters. And story-wise, I'm liking what we're getting, because it involves characters that I like, that we're finally getting some limelight in here, and we're getting more depth into their story with flashbacks and stuff. So I'm looking for more of that, and I'm glad we're getting it here.
I just want to get to 4 so I can get to the love story and Kamurocho song in the karaoke. Still not as good as 24 Hour Cinderella, but
Yeah, Yakuza 0's got a lot of good songs. I think 0 is still my favorite as far as music goes. Honestly, all the games have really great music.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just something about the 80s, man, where it's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm feeling this today.
Dude, I think you're really going to like Kiwami.
Yeah.
Kiwami's great.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to like just zoom through the story, not worry too much about side quests, completion, and all that, as much as I did in Yakuza 0, because that's probably what I'm afraid of now, just like playing through the game and discovering that I actually like it.
Well, see, I'm gonna tell you right now, you probably won't spend as much time on that one because the cabaret is different. But when you get to Kiwami 2, my guy, the cabaret is back.
We're back, fever time,
and it's so good, dude. Seeing Kiryu in a fucking tux,
I know, dude.
Dude, he looks fresh as fuck, dude. And I don't want to talk. If I talk more about it, I'm gonna get spoilers. I'm just gonna say cabaret is great in 2.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I feel you, Jerry. I was talking to Grant the other day about Yakuza, because he's on 3 right now, and he's taking his time. He's going through the sub stories.
Yeah.
And I told him, like, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna go through the game, and then once I finish 6, if I want to, I think I'll go back through the games and kind of just do the sub stories.
That's fair. Like, give it a shot first.
Like, Kiwami is like 80 sub stories. It's the same in 2. In 3, it's like 110. It's like, it's a lot of stuff, and going through 0 to Kiwami 2, a lot of it was just rinse and repeat stuff. For the mundane things anyways, but when we get to the big sub-stories that are actually pretty good, it's like, oh, I want to invest my time into that, but it's not like the game tells you. And so I don't want to really spend my time just running around trying to find a good sub-story only to get caught in an average one.
That makes sense.
That's fair.
Yeah, so I think I'm just gonna just go through. Also, once you get to 3 and 4, they don't automatically trigger most of the time. So I was like, oh, if it's not gonna tell me to do it, then I might just not do it.
If you're not gonna tell me to do the homework, then I'll see you next summer.
Yeah. Like I think I said it on the podcast, I don't remember, but my completion rate was 5% for Yakuza 3.
I believe it.
Jesus.
So, all right, man, let's get into this news. Right off the bat, man, got to give that RIP to Mr. DMX himself.
Yes, sir.
Let's just get this out of the way because it's a rumor, and it doesn't make sense, but the rumor is Last of Us, the first one, is going to be getting a remake for PS5.
Why?
Boo! Yeah, that's the question. Why? I mean, the only thing I could think of is, of course, they're going to add the mechanics from 2 in there. Probably, which would be nice because the gameplay's stellar in 2. And the only other thing I could think of is maybe if Neil Druckmann wants to shake it up, like just tweak it just a bit to more of how he wants it to transition to part 2, maybe, is the only thing I can really think of. Like, I don't see why this needs a remake at all.
Well, I mean, wasn't it already remastered for PS4? Like, not that long after it dropped anyway?
Yeah, it dropped like the month before PS4 launched, and then I think a month or 2 later, they did the remaster for PS4. Yeah, I mean, it's not that old of a game. Like, sure, it's a big game. It'll make money, but it doesn't make sense to remake it now. Because I'm not going to lie, it still looks great. So I don't see graphically what the improvements could even be. The only thing I can think of is storytelling. Well, I mean, one thing I do know, we mentioned it before, HBO, with the show, Neil Druckmann's working on it, and he is going to be tweaking stuff to the story onto the show. So it's going to feel a little different. So maybe that's what he wants to put in the game as well. But over on Nintendo's side, we had a live stream on the 8th for No More Heroes 3. We got a lot more info and some gameplay. And all I can say is, I'm ready now. I'm ready for August, dude. This game looks so fucking cool. Graphically, it looks the best it's ever been. It's going with the same aesthetic as No More Heroes 2 is, as far as the way the lighting works and the character models. We see some characters returning that I guess are going to stand out for the story. And I said before we recorded, I'm pretty sure I got spoiled for Traffic Strikes Again because I guess something happened in there. But yeah, they showed off all the cool stuff, man. There's just a part where you could transform and get like a mech suit on, and it looks badass. We got some more details with the enemies that we're going to be fighting, right? It's these aliens, and kind of just showcasing their designs and how, like, yeah, these are bosses that you're going to fight. And the wildest part where I was like, yeah, Suda51, you guys are okay in my book. They had a panel structure set up, so it was the 2 main guys talking about the game, and then right next to them was just a VTuber just chilling, giving some commentary as well. I'm like, what are we doing, man? This is great.
Yeah, buddy.
So that's, again, August. Cannot wait. Oh, and also it was confirmed that the box art for the game is drawn by the guy that did The Boys.
Big hype, dude. Yeah, I still need to go through 2 and Travis Strikes Again, but I got plenty of time for that.
Yeah, I almost want to go back and play the games again just to get the feel. And then over on anime side of news, it's probably not that big of news, but to the niche anime audience, I think it is. It is to me anyways. Harmony Gold 40th anniversary's coming up. These are the people that publish Robotech, right? I'm a big fan of Robotech. They announced they're in a joint partnership with Studio Nue and Big West, and they have come to an agreement to globally release Macross.
Dog. Damn, bro. What?
If you guys don't know, Robotech, big hit in the 80s. And it's an anime that got 3 different animes from Japan and just merged them all into one. The first main series with Rick Hunter and all of them fighting the Zentradi, that's Macross. But of course, it's written differently and all of that to fit what they wanted to do with what they had. To me, this is crazy because, you know, if you're a Macross fan, you say, oh, we don't talk about Harmony Gold. We don't mention that name here because they own the rights. They made Robotech. They don't want Macross published anywhere outside of Japan to interfere with Robotech. Macross has so many shows. There's Macross, there's Delta, 7, and there's like 3 other shows. You know, and it's a big mech idol anime out in Japan. It even got a PS4 game like 6 years ago or whatever. But we don't get to see any of that because of Harmony Gold. And that really sucks because I'm kind of interested because some of the designs of the mechs look pretty cool. And who doesn't like idol girls?
Big facts.
Right.
I think part of it has to do with like, yeah, we might as well just do this. And then another part is I know they're kind of doing their own thing with Robotech right now. I mean, at least with the comic, that went a whole different direction just with the story that they kind of wanted to envision, but because they didn't make new animation, they couldn't do it. And also part of the agreement says these other studios from Japan are okay with the live action Robotech movie premiering in Japan. And also, like, I think Sony's doing the Robotech movie, so they were like, we need that overseas, guys. You got to make something happen. So crazy, man, that we're going to be seeing Macross finally out here. I know that niche audience is excited to see that. So a long controversy ended, and a new one begins with the final chapter of Attack on Titan getting released. Chapter 139, which is important because the mangaka wanted to end it here, because I guess the meaning for the number 139 means the end of something and the beginning of something else. So I guess that's like the perfect number to end a series and have your epilogue show what's the future.
Whatever you say, man.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Hey, I heard about numerology too, dude. You know, I bet you probably believe in astrology. I mean, what is it called, dude? Is it astrology? With the fucking
Star people?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
You look up your horoscope, bro. I bet.
Yeah.
110%.
Yeah. I read the chapter. Yeah, guess what? A lot of people hate it. I want to say understandable because there's a huge 180 in the final chapter that kind of really comes out of nowhere. Like, I'm trying to think back if you would go read older chapters, maybe it's hinted somewhere, and it's not. It's really not. It's only in this final chapter. It's in a little bit of 138 as well. And a lot of people think that the mangaka rushed it. He just wanted to say fuck you to the fans, or like got into peer pressure and had to give us a quote unquote happy ending to the series. Because leading up to it, it was pretty grim what was going on.
Well, you got to keep in mind, dude, he wanted to end it on 131, so he's like, I'm done, dude. I'm checked out.
Part of me thinks that might be the reason too that it could feel rushed and out of nowhere, is because he's like, no, we're ending it here, okay? I want to end it here. And maybe he just didn't anticipate all the stuff he needed to do before getting to the final chapter or something.
He should have read it out loud, because sometimes when you read it out loud, it makes no sense.
But we'll probably never know, right? It's one of those things that we won't get. I mean, we'll get answers to stuff that popped up in this chapter for sure in interviews and stuff, I can imagine. But personally, I thought the chapter was fine. The twist was definitely, I had to take a step back and be like, oh, really? Okay. And then, just really thinking about the chapter and understanding everything leading up to it, I was like, you know what? This is fine. To me, it's very interesting with Eren Yeager. I mean, not to really spoil Attack on Titan, but he's like, no, I'm the villain now at a certain point. And he starts doing a lot of things, and now the story is shifting. And it was at that moment, everyone's like, yo, Attack on Titan's fucking great, man. And, I said the same thing. I'm like, yeah, it's really good right now with what they're doing. To see the reasoning behind Eren's decisions to be the antagonist was interesting. He's sort of the tragic anti-hero of the series, which is, I don't think you really see a lot, especially in manga.
So Steve Buscemi in Tree's Lounge.
Actually, hold on. Let me think about that.
You said tragic anti-hero, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
That's wild,
for you, Adam. Yeah, let's go with that.
But that's wild though, man, because I remember when I stopped reading it, I didn't care for the time skips anymore. I was like, whatever, this is dumb. Like, you can't do too many of these and get away with it. I didn't really think that he would go that route for Eren to be the antagonist, right? Like, it just, it wasn't in the forefront plans. Like, typically, we would see that, like, sprinkled in here and there. Like, with Sasuke, for example. Like, just kind of sprinkle it in there. Rival, probably going to be evil later on, like, end up being good, whatever, But for you telling me that, because that is completely news to me. And now I'm interested. Now I'm kind of engaged in a way where, like, how did you make that shift? So I probably will go and read it now that it's done. I think I've said it before in the show that when it's done, I'll read it. I'll give it another chance. I'll start from the beginning because I don't even remember where I left off at, like in context of the numbers.
I still think it's worth reading. I've dropped this series a few times, and it was mainly in situations or things getting explained that just sounded ridiculous and dumb, or just I felt was just poorly drawn and written. But then going back and seeing what that was setting up for, oh, now it's great. Once we got that rough hurdle, it makes sense looking back at it. And it was like that every instance when I went back. I think that's probably the same for the final chapter, is you want that immediate, what the fuck? But then if you really think about it, you're like, oh, okay, I see what he did. If I'm going to be honest, a lot of the hate comes just from two things. One of them is very stupid. People keep bringing it up about simp time kind of thing. That is honestly the worst way to look at this final chapter for Attack on Titan. It's just because it's in a weird, like the way the simpness comes out in the chapter is weird. So I understand how people hate that because of the setup stuff or the stuff that we got teased like a few arcs prior to this does sound more interesting than what we kind of get, but they're just blinded by that. And then also the other main thing that they're really upset about, the reveal in the final chapter. And it's just a lot of people are just pissed off about that. And I don't think it's a great ending. I think it's an okay ending for the series. Mm-hmm. And it definitely could have been a lot worse. Because let me tell you, there's one chapter where I thought, I'm like, dude, are we doing the dream sequence thing? Was it all a dream moment? Like, that's what I really thought was happening based on the dialogue. And I was like, that would have been terrible. There's definitely a lot of options he could have done to make this a lot worse than what it is. But I thought it was all right. There is some plot hole stuff and some stuff that doesn't make sense, of course. But that could be from just being rushed, or he's like, I just don't want to touch that right now. I want to get to this main section that I want to cover before we end it. So I'm very curious to see how people are going to react to that when it gets animated for part 2 of season 4, whenever that's dropping this year. So pretty wild, man. You don't really see an ending for a manga be that negatively hated on. I've seen some praise, but yeah, it's majority hate. But yeah, it's finally over, man. Another giant series down in the books. On my end, hey, I finally watched New Mutants. That is the final X-Men movie from Fox before the Disney buyout.
I didn't know that. I thought that was part of the Disney stuff.
No, you would think because of when it came out, but no, this was filmed before that conversation even happened for the deal. So yeah, a bunch of production hell. It got filmed in 2017, I think. I thought the movie was all right. They could have done a lot more into there. I don't even know what the runtime was. I'd imagine just right about 2 hours. A lot of the themes are cool with what they do, but they don't do it a whole lot, which is the thing that sucks for me, because that's the stuff that they were selling in the trailer, the whole horror aspect of this movie, right? Like, it's a horror movie first, and then we could talk about the X-Men stuff.
I see.
That's what I was expecting, and it's more of just, let's see these kids hang out in this hospital and kind of get into their characters just a bit and understand like the fear from their powers. Third act stuff was, big and flashy, but it looked pretty cool. The special effects and all, like when they use their abilities, that stuff was pretty cool. The only thing that sucks is right off the bat, you already know what's going on with the plot. Like the whole mystery thing of why is this happening, you understand the first time it happens. Mm-hmm. And it's not at fault with the movie, it's just because we're dealing with mutants. And it's like, well, it's happening because of this. That's the obvious answer. Some of the horror stuff, yeah, is pretty cool. With like some designs of like these wild looking, there's like a Slender Man type of character that comes in.
That's pretty cool.
He looks pretty cool, and the way he moves too before you get the face reveal. I was like, oh yeah, I like that creepiness. Heck yeah. Yeah. It was all right, man. I think it's an okay time. It's an hour 40. I could have done with like a 2:15 runtime. Give us an extra half hour, and I think they could have done a lot more of that stuff. And also, it's out on HBO Max now as of today. I would say, yeah, just give it a look. It does feel a little slow, and I think that's just with the pacing of getting the groundwork ready before the final act.
I mean, dude, I really like The Dead Don't Die, so anything that's slow, I really don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably give it a watch. I mean, if it's on HBO.
So yeah, I guess safe to say, go ahead and wrap up the episode here. New Marvel Talk's finally out. We had to delay it, but the Snyder Cut episode is there. It's a fun time. Manga reviews as always. Webtoon this week. And like Jerry said earlier, he's streaming. I'm back on streaming. Adams, you're trying to finish that Chain of Memories before we get to that good.
Yeah, dude, we're gonna get to something real fun. By the time we're recording this, I should hopefully be finishing Riku's side of the story today. And I talked about it on stream when I streamed it the day before. But I do have my splits ready, so at some point in the future, maybe like in the next month or two, I'll give a go at speedrun for Riku's side. I've seen some people kind of clock it in under an hour for beginner mode, so now that I have my splits, I just need to figure out the best route to take. Get into some speedrun in Kingdom Hearts. I play these games enough, might as well. But yeah, that'll be over at twitch.tv/Bam Adam.
Yeah, it's mainly more Shadow of the Tomb Raider on my end. So, all right, guys, while we wait for the next episode, as always, Unversed Podcast, anywhere on social media. We'll let you know when the episodes drop. And then, again, the email is unversedpodcast@gmail.com if you have any questions or comments. Oh, you know what? Before we go, just real quick, I was looking up stuff for a manga that I can't find information for, and I got stumbled upon an app called Mangamo. And I just want to bring it up because, you know, they say support the official release, but it's like we don't have a lot of options with that out here. You know, aside from the physical volumes, but even then, there's still a lot of manga that doesn't get translated. You know, Shonen Jump, they have their own app, which is the start. You know, I was like, okay, cool, $2 a month. You could read a bunch of manga that they have translated, which is pretty cool. And then I stumbled upon this app. It's the same thing, subscription based, and they have a lot of manga on here, and they're uploading chapters daily, all officially translated and licensed that you could read. It's $5 a month. And I thought I'd just mention it because, you know, finally we're seeing something like this. And I was browsing through the list, and they have a lot of stuff from various magazines coming in here. Just talked about it. They have Attack on Titan. They have Ajin. They have like a bunch of Air Gears on here, Adam.
Oh, shit. Hold on. What's it called?
It's called Mangamo. I wouldn't say it's worth checking out now. I literally
just downloaded this. Oh my god, I'm canceling it. Hold on.
Well, just look at what they have. You know, the reason I say it's not worth it now is because they are uploading chapters daily, but it's not new chapters. They don't have the full library for a lot of these series. Which, like Attack on Titan, I said, 139 was the last chapter. They only have 38 available to read. Right. So that's kind of weird. I don't know what the reasoning is. Maybe it's because they have their own translation team, or maybe it's just a deal that they did with the publishers in Japan. So I would say let's just wait a while and see what it's doing. It's not that old of an app from what I understand. So, you know, it's got time to stretch its legs out, but I think it's cool, man. Because like I said, different magazines. I think that's the big hurdle when it comes to having these kind of apps for manga, is because there's too many manga magazines out there.
Yeah.
Right? There's plenty of manga I read where that's the only one I read out of that magazine. Shonen Jump's great, but that's not all I read. Seeing an app being able to go to these other magazines and say, hey, guys, people want to read this in the States. Let's get this in English. Appreciate that. And yeah, from what I saw, it looks like a lot of stuff that's not well known. Like definitely a lot of series I've never heard of being translated. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So check it out. It's, you know, the app's free. The subscription's $5 a month to be able to read anything. So I'm just keeping tabs on it and seeing how far it's going to go. So with that final note, thanks guys for listening. There's a new music video that Square did for his album featuring Rav. So we're going to end on that track. And the link for the video is in the description. So thanks, guys. Catch you on the next one.
Some friends, they come, they go. Some days just wanna lay low. How come still walking this slow? Look to the past with the confidence flow. I'm living all this growth. I feel so ominous though. Night scene blur, got a color van go. When the colors all running, the other van road. Look at them now. He don't even, no. Being so loud. so proud, feeling so low now. If I don't feel it now, I'm gonna feel it when I'm older, yeah. Feel like every day is slow, feel like everything is past tense. Case was different, outlast them. Raise the instant, don't cash in. Every day on my ass, better add some action. Proofs don't come from your passions, the truth don't live in no mansions. Euphemisms don't mash it, still you pretend that don't have of it. It's no accident that all this shit come crashing in. You know it's not just happening to you, so you'll grow after this. It's true goes through no packages. You just gotta break shit down, you'll never make it out. Thinking on the waste it out, you can never change them now. Yeah, yeah, ain't no way to reign entropy. Flip pages back, it's our history. Just gotta find a reason to be kind, believe it. Never mind the pieces, take this from me. I was stuck on misery in private, public mystery. No time for love and listening to other people's misery. So what? Yeah, had to change my mind a bit. It's a 9 to 5 to shit. Thoughts that fight for the right to exist. All my life in a life for the hit. All my pride getting tied to this shit. I didn't like that, I like to pretend. Endless cycles, it's time to forget. Yeah, some friends they come, they go. Some days just might lay low. How come still walking this slow? Look to the past with the confidence flow. I'm living all this growth. I feel so ominous though. I see